Hello again, and welcome to one more of my videos. My name is Sofia Churlaki, and for those of you that you are new in my channel, welcome. For those of you that you are following my videos, hello again after a while. And today's video will be long, therefore I will not make lengthy introductions. In today's video, I will do something that normally I don't do. Very rarely, only once in my 3-4 years now that I have the channel, I have actually talked about a specific Muslim. And today will be the second video. It's a necessity, I cannot escape it. Although I disagree personally, my attitude towards male Muslim, famous Muslims, that they are YouTubers or, they build their career and persona on social media. I want them to be in oblivion. So I don't talk about them, I don't engage with them. But today I couldn't, I struggled for 10 days now, but I can't avoid mentioning the person, so I will do it. Today's video is about what we can learn, what we can understand about Islamic feminism based on the famous by now scandal or case, if you want, against Mohammad Hijab. Now, I will not deal at all about the actions that this case has brought on the surface or in public knowledge. I'm not concerned what people do in their bedrooms, what people do in their private affairs. What I will do today is I will analyze a little bit the statement that was published of the woman involved in this case. Now, we don't know her name, we don't know how she looks, we don't know where she's from. She appears, only her voice appears, she doesn't appear physically. She presents herself with under a nickname, which is not her name. And personally, I feel a little bit bothered because she chose the name Aisha, which is a venerated and honored woman of Islamic history. It was the wife of, she was the wife of the Prophet. So I don't like the way the name Aisha is being used, but anyway, that's why I will not call her with this name, because that's not her name. And what I have done is there is a series of 10 videos, 12 videos in a specific channel, something about veil, behind veil, revealed veil, something like that. This is the name of the channel, where a male presenter presents the case. Okay. In the first video of the series, there is this 20 minutes recorded testimony of this woman. I will only talk based on this testimony, and you will tell me why you will do that. Now, again, I will try hard not to judge her decisions, her actions, etc. I'm not here to judge the case. I don't care about the case. Other people can care about that. I have more important things to do in my life. But why I decided to do this, to make this video, is because in minute 1923 of the video of the other channel, when we hear her testimony, while she's trying to justify her choice of marrying Mohammed Hijab, she starts saying things like, oh, he was fighting 23 years of dawah, and he was, famous, and the scholars worldwide were praising him, and blah, blah, blah. And one of the arguments that she gives is, and I quote, he told me he fights against feminism. So this for her was an evidence that this man is a trustworthy man, is a good man. She should marry him, despite the fact that he told her from day one that he wants a polygynous marriage. This would be a polygyny, despite the fact that he had ghosted her for 8 months. All of this information is in her testimony. So despite all of that, for him being famous, for him being praised by Dawah brothers, and for him fighting against feminism, she was like, yeah, he's a catch. I must marry this man. So, let's break down this statement. He told me he fights against feminism. Very good. Apparently, she speaks about Islamic feminism, because there is no point of a Muslim man fighting against a secular feminism or a Christian feminism, okay? He fights against Islamic feminism. Islamic feminism is not an entity, a living being that you can fight against, okay? Don't have these ideas of the glorious warrior that fights. No, Islamic feminism is an ideology. What this person and other Muslim men fight against is not Islamic feminism. They fight against Muslim feminists. Be it men, we do have a minority of men that they are Muslim feminists, or they contribute with their scholarly work or with their actions in upholding the ideals of Islamic feminism, or they fight against female Muslim feminists. They fight against Muslim women that uphold Islamic feminism. So this made that woman believe that this was the man of her dreams. Now let's start from this point, although this was at the end of her speech, and go to discuss three main topics, that because all her speech is all about, oh, poor me, I was misled and now I want justice. Good. I broke down three main thematics here. So the first thematic is about worshipping of men. Worshipping of men, which is what traditionalists or Muslims that follow traditionalist notions of Islam, these are the people that are against Islamic feminism, practice. Because ritually, the women, and I will talk about the women. I don't care about the men. I know about men, and every intelligent woman in the 21st century that has studied a little bit of Islam, Islamic history, Hadith studies, Quranic studies, exegesis, particularly fiqh. Every woman that has the bare minimum knowledge of fiqh, we will not discuss about Muslim men. We will discuss about Muslim women. So, in traditionalist notions of Islam, men are being worshipped. Not literally, but practically. So, on a ritualistic aspect, all these women, they worship Allah. Okay, they pray on Allah. But on their daily lives, the man is wow. And let me tell you how, and I will give you timestamps of the video, how this woman confirms that. And before I say that, on the second or the third video of this channel that I mentioned, about this man that has the channel promotes her work and breaks down in different videos, different aspects. He said that at some point, this woman said, I'm not sure whether it was to him or to someone else, because this woman jumped around on different YouTubers and tried to make her argument come into public. And most of them, one of them that we know the name, I will not say the name, who is besties with Mohammed Hijab. He recorded her testimony and then just passed it on to Mohammed Hijab, and he didn't publish it. So in one of her, multiple recordings, she actually said, I was worshipping Mohammed Hijab like if he was God. And then this person now that is helping her goes into his, I think it was the second or the third video, and said, yes, sister said that this was an unfortunate choice of words. Well, in my country, in Greece, we say that the tongue that makes mistakes reveals the truth, because that's what she's doing. That's what she was doing back then. And I will take from her testimony to see how she proves that she and other females that are against Islamic feminism, because Islamic feminism comes to destroy. they worship men. So to begin with, she starts in the video, the first video, when you go to her testimony, she starts saying that, oh, I respected him because how the scholars are praising him worldwide. Well, who are these scholars that praise him worldwide? Because are they scholars or they are YouTubers? Because at some point, we need to start differentiating between the two. Someone shouting in front of a camera is not a scholar. For someone to be a scholar, he needs to have publications. He needs to have work. He needs to have studies. So are they scholars? When I say studies, studies on Islam, okay? Not philosophy, history, and then say, okay, I have a degree in history, now I'm an Islamic scholar. It doesn't work like that. Oh, I respected him because of his position. She refers to Mohammed Hijab in her testimony as the elite. So we need to have our elite in accountability, etc. Yeah, okay. She continues. 7:50 the minute in the video. He's trustworthy, he's praised, he's a provider, he's religious, he's pious, and that made me accept the suggestion of polygyny. Well, Habibti, the fact that he's a YouTuber, and he speaks and he has a strong personality. I mean, I know Mohammed Hijab personally. We were studying together. I will not talk about this degree because there is an issue with this degree. Okay, I got it. I got my degree. I can show my degree, my master's degree. Not everyone can. So the fact that he has a large personality, because Muhammad has a large personality, okay, and he's good with language, primarily on jumping from one topic to another to confuse the audience and the person he discussed with. That doesn't make him pious. And this woman realized that, but it was too late for her. Again, he's famous, different timestamp. 9:30 to 9:40, she said, he is famous, he's trustworthy because he's famous, he memorized the Quran, and if he said it, then he is truthful. Where? How? How did you get the notion that any man, if he says something, that's it? His word is a contract. That's not how it works. And that's why God in the Quran told us to put all our agreements into a contract, paper contract, with witnesses, with signatures, because nobody other than God is, he said it, is trustworthy. Maybe the Prophet, okay? God and the Prophet. No mortal man is so trustworthy. But in her eyes, Mohammed Hijab was trustworthy. She says many things about, how he was amazing. That's why I decided after so many years to marry. Why you hold a man that high in your respect or something? And I will tell you why. And this is where the Islamic feminism comes in. The traditionalist notions of Islam have the woman being weak and dependent on a man. A man is everything, can be her father, her brother, her husband, whatever, but a woman needs a man. She is in desperate need of a man. On feminist Islam, we know that we are not in desperate need of a man. The only one we need is God, not a man. And that will jump or bring us to the second main topic of her speech, the damsel in distress. So she again and again repeats in this video, in this testimony, how weak women, Muslim women, are. Not with these words, because if you go to these women, okay, the traditionalist women, and you tell them that, let me help you, their answer is like, we don't need saving, we don't need help, Islam gave us our rights. Well, Habibti, this case proves exactly how this is a very misleading statement, because it's not Islam that gave you rights, it's God that attempted to give you the rights. But then when men started, meddling with religion, they took these rights away from you. And that's what Islamic feminism is trying hard to do. We try to hold these men accountable, correct the wrong or the misogynist, and I will say that with full consciousness, the misogynist fiqh, and return to the basis where we have the rights from God and we only depend and need God. So, back to the damsel in distress, 1650 to 1652, the timestamp of the video. She has told us about the marriage and then how the divorce came from Mohammed Hijab, and then she's trying to show how much Mohammed Hijab's actions hurt her. So she starts saying, oh, there is no one to take care of my daughter. Habibti, there is no one to take care of your daughter because Mohammed Hijab will not take care of your daughter? There is now no one else? And mind you, those of you that you watch that video and you are from other countries, because we are in the UK, from whatever I inferred, and at some point she says it clearly, and we will mention it later, this woman lives in the UK and she lives, she's not financially, she doesn't have any financial hardship. Now, I'm not quite sure whether she's a wealthy woman by herself or if she lives on benefits, because, and then this is an unfortunate reality that I have to accept. Those of you that you follow me on LinkedIn, you know that a few years ago, I was working in the Department of Work and Pensions, where is the benefit system. Most Muslim women, or let's say the majority of the beneficiaries, the majority of the people who were on benefits were Muslim women with children. And very often they will come to us with a man with them. And when we will ask them, who is that man? They will say, oh, it's a neighbor. Oh, it's a friend. We all knew that this is not a neighbor, this is not a friend, this is the husband. But they don't declare the Islamic marriage to the government, so they can both sides claim different benefits. The point is, a woman in the UK in our days does not need a man to pay her bills because the government pays her bills. The government pays for the house, so you don't pay rent, the government pays you rent. The government gives money for the expenses of the person, the mother, and the government pays extra amount for the child. So, what is this that there is no one to take care of my daughter? You are here, you're the mother, you have responsibility to take care of your daughter, and God is here, and the state is here to take care of your child. So this idea that, oh, nobody will take care of my child. Did you marry Mohammed Hijab to take care of your child? Because for the previous 16 minutes, she's praising him and how amazing he was and how much she was in love with him. So there are questions here. Continues. And this was a bit earlier, I think on the 14th minute. She said, my father told him, while they were discussing about marriage, that she and her daughter are a weight around your neck. Do you see the damsel in distress here? Do you see how a woman is being presented by her own father that is supposed to love her? She is presented to a potential groom as a burden, as something bad, you know. Now you take her, she will be a weight again around your neck. She and her child. What is this? God made us women Khalifa. Huh? We are, you know, high in God's eyes. And that's why God in the Quran and again and again and again and again made us right, told men that they should respect us, that they cannot just throw us away, that they should pay for us, that they should take care of us. And now, but this is the traditionalist notion. A woman in the traditional notion of Islam is a burden, is a weight, is something negative. We continue. Minute 1828, 1832. I needed him to take care of myself. I needed him to take care of my daughter because I can't play both roles. What do you mean? Which both roles? But again, do you see here that, oh, me, I'm weak. I cannot be a mother and a father to my daughter. Yes, you can. Especially because you are financially secured by the government, okay? The benefit system substitutes the financial assistance that normally a husband, or the financial responsibility that normally in a nikah marriage, because there are different types of marriage, we will talk about that. So of course you can play both roles. You are free to stay at home because the government pays you to stay at home and take care of your child. So where is the difficulty? Why you need a man to save you? Damsel in distress. Which is the picture of a woman in traditionalist notions of Islam. It's not the picture of women in Islamic feminism. In Islamic feminism, we teach our sisters, our daughters, our granddaughters how to be strong and balanced and depend only on Allah, not on a man. It's good if you have a man, but it's not a necessity. It's not that without a man, my life has been destroyed. No. We continue, 2043, 2048. I'm giving you the timestamps to go and actually listen to her statement if you so wish. At this point, she told us how her life has been destroyed because of this situation. Technically, a divorce. Her second divorce, we need to say that. When she got involved with Mohammed Hijab, she was already a divorcee and had a child. The child is not Mohammed Hijab's child. I should clarify that earlier. So she says how this has destroyed her mentally, physically. Her future is dark and everything because of a man, for God's sake. And then she says how 2043, 2048, I reached out to one of the shayukh because I needed someone to help me. Again, damsel in distress. I jump from a man to a man. So from my father to a potential husband to a sheikh, to help me. 24/5, 24/7. He destroyed my life and that of my daughter. That's too heavy, right? Again, because of the second divorce, the life of your daughter is destroyed and your life is destroyed. Without a man, you are destroyed. You don't have value. You don't have... What is that? And that's what we can learn. These people, these women that uphold traditionalist notion of Islam, and they are so happy and so proud, and they fall in love with people who fight against feminist Muslim women. They like this role. This is the role that they follow. I don't have any value. My value depends on the man. If I have a man, good. If I don't have a man, apapa. That's not what God said. Okay? Now, this man worshipping, and that for us, feminist Muslim women, is a form of disrespecting, and I will not say anything heavier, God, has been addressed by Amina Wadud on this wonderful book. If you go to, the chapter starts in page 24, the Tawhidic paradigm. This is the beginning of the chapter. And if you go to page 30, here is how Amina Wadud explains the difference between the hierarchy in Islam. That traditionalist notions of Islam, they have created the hierarchy Allah, man, woman, whereas feminist Muslim scholars and feminist Muslims, we have Allah, man and woman equally in front of Allah. So that's what we can learn about feminism. That's why those men fight against us, because we speak and we open the eyes of other women. And at the end of the day, those traditionalist women that they are so happy, and they fight Islamic feminism as well, they fight us. I mean, if you go on my videos, because I have several videos about Islamic feminism, the practicalities of Islamic feminism. If you see how many women badmouth me and how many women tell me that I should shut up, etc., there are many. These are the pick-me of the Muslim community, pick-me girls of the Muslim community. Okay, yes, these feminists are so bad. Look at me, I'm so good. I believe you. I worship you like a god. Oh, love me, pick me. Well, Habibti, they do pick you, and then they use you, and then they throw you away. That's what is the mentality of the traditionalist notion of Islam. And I will go, later on, we will go into the fiqh element. So, Amina Wadud, the Tawhidic paradigm, the oneness of God. We are supposed to worship God and God alone. We are supposed to depend on God and God alone, not on men, be it our father, our brother, our potential husband, etc. So this was the one topic, the lady in distress. We already talked about the element of personality worshipping. Okay, while she was talking, minute 6:35, she was quoting Mohammed Hijab, and she said that he told her in the period of courting, when he was trying to convince her, whatever you see on social media, don't worry, because I'm very good. So she did listen to how she said it, the scholars were praising him worldwide, but she didn't watch all those videos where other scholars are judging him. She did. She didn't want to accept it because this is the mentality. And why is this important? How is this related with Islamic feminism? Because us Muslim feminists, we do create videos. I mean, I have 150 videos. Some of them are in Greek language. The other half are in English. Who listens to these videos? Do women, that I would expect women to be thirsty of this knowledge. I have 3 series of videos. So 3 of them are about marital contract, and this is very relevant to this case. And I have the women that they contact me personally, and when I send them the videos and I'm like, watch the videos and then I can answer any questions you have. They don't watch the videos. They never come back to me. I have women underneath these videos where I explain in detail the rights of women in a marriage, that they're like, but you're not supposed to talk. You're a woman. You're not supposed to show your face. That's how the traditionalist notion of Islam wants you. And this is, in this case, she practices this because she never shows her face and she doesn't reveal her identity. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? It is your right according to your opinion. Okay, whether I agree with you or not, it's a different story. According to your opinion, you're right. Why are you hiding? This is what traditionalist notion of Islam want women to be: dependable, worshipping men, damsel in distress, and invisible. What this woman doesn't realize is that by going in public, by having her testimony publicized, she somehow comes near us into Islamic feminism, where we have full respect of the humanity of a woman, and a woman has a presence, a woman has a voice, a woman will seek justice. But don't tell her, she will feel shocked. Yeah, okay. Then there are details that I do and I don't. There are details about the type of the marriage. She says that, okay, they had a nikah and he paid the mahar, and there were 2 witnesses. Now, again, what can we learn about Islamic feminism? Oh, well, in the traditionalist notion of Islam, women are practically stopped from any meaningful religious education. Women, according to the traditionalists, a woman should know the Qur'an to teach it to her children, and that is all. She is not supposed to know anything about the complications of fiqh, the complications of Islamic law, the complications of Sharia, the complications of hadith, etc. No, all what she needs to do is memorize the Quran, and that doesn't mean knowing the Quran. It means memorizing the Quran. Okay? And that's our difference, because Muslim feminists, what we say again and again, and you will see me stating it in most of my videos, is do not trust what I just told you. Go and read by yourself. Go and make your research by yourself. And this specific woman, in this case, she comes from an Arab country, Arab-speaking country. Arabic-speaking country. So she can read the original sources. She can read the works of the ancient scholars. Now, whether all of them, the point of reading and going to the ancient scholars is compare what each school of law said or what scholar said, and see what, so where is the truth? So yeah, on the specifics of the case, a traditional, it's not clear what type of marriage they have, but do you know why the traditionalist men fight against us bad Muslim feminists, and they just condition the traditionalist women? Because a traditionalist woman, from whatever comes out of the case, she has no idea about the different types of marriage, her rights in a marriage. Us, we do. And we teach our daughters and sisters and granddaughters. I have these 3 videos where I explain in detail that when you go to get married, you don't do it verbally. There is no such thing as a verbal agreement. God in the Qur'an said, put all your agreements on a contract. The nikah contract is a contract. A marriage in Islam is supposed to be a contractual relationship. Okay, and in this contract, it's not only the names of the groom and because most traditionalists, what they do is they give you a receipt from the mosque if they give you anything. I don't think they gave her anything. I think her marriage was a verbal marriage. It's not a marriage. If it's verbal, it's not a marriage. Even in Shia Islam, the temporary marriage is supposed to be in a contract. The 2 parties are signing a contract. So everything needs to be in writing. When you will make your contract, you put the name, the type of the marriage, because we have the nikah, we have the misyar, we have different types. I will not repeat myself because I have already made these videos. Go and watch the videos. I will tag them underneath this one. Each one secures different rights and obligations. Okay, so from her words, Mohammed Hijab said this is a misyar marriage. Misyar marriage, for those of you that you don't know, is the same like the temporary marriage of Shiism. The only difference is that in Shiism there is a deadline. You have a deadline. It can be after 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years. And in misyar it's open. It can finish whenever one of the 2 parties want. Which for me, the Shia marriage is much more decent for the woman because the woman knows when this will end. Okay. But we will not go down that path. She says, we did the nikah. Did you do nikah or you did misyar? And again, I'm not here to judge her. The point is that she doesn't know. Whereas Muslim feminists, and there are books after books after books that explain these things. I have created the videos that explain these things, but I'm a bad Muslim feminist. If you agree on a misyar, you have 0 rights as a woman. He is not responsible to pay anything for you because it's a misyar marriage. If you signed for a nikah marriage, he is obliged to provide you. Did you know that? No. Do most traditionalist women know that? No. Why? Because men don't want you to know that. Because men want to do whatever they please. It is our responsibility as women, and it's not because when I made these comments on my social media earlier, a woman came and says, "Oh, but this is victim blaming." It's not victim blaming, but women need to take responsibility. This is the main difference between the traditionalist notion of Islam and feminist Islam. Feminist Islam, we women are responsible, we have agency, and we defend ourselves. We protect ourselves from men like that. And from fiqh, we will see later, like that. So that's why they fight against feminist women and feminist Muslims. Because we speak, we teach, we share this knowledge that these men don't want other women to have. Because if this woman had this knowledge, if this woman was educated on her rights, the rights that Islam gave her, she would know that, hey, I don't do verbal marriage. Hey, when we do the contract, I will put the type of the marriage. And if the type is nikah, you are obliged automatically to pay for me. I don't have to put it in the clauses, because at some point she says that I will not pay your bills because you didn't ask for them in the marriage. Exactly. Traditionalist notions of Islam, until very recently, the marital contract was the name of the groom, the name of the bride, the 2 witnesses, and the type of the marriage, and the amount of mahar. We will come into the mahar in a while. Nothing else. In feminist Islam, that's not the case. In feminist Islam, before the marriage, you sit and you write all your clauses, even in nikah marriage, especially in nikah marriage. All your clauses. I want him to pay for this and this and this. I want him not to take a second wife. I want him to take me holidays. I want him to leave me alone 1 day per week to be on my own. I want him to buy me strawberries. I want him to have cats and dogs. Whatever the woman wants within her marriage, during the marriage, she needs to write it down in the contract. And this contract is part of the nikah. This is the nikah contract. And the man needs to sign. Once he signed, he cannot say, oh, you didn't ask me. Oh, I'm not obliged Islamically. Because at some point she starts quoting Mohammed Hijab and says, oh, Islamically, I'm not obliged to talk to your parents. Islamically, I'm not obliged to pay for your expenses. Islamically, and this is the other part. We jump from one topic to the other, but you can see. When men, traditionalist men, say Islamically, they don't mean that's what God said. What do they mean is what we, the bad feminists, we call fiqh without ethics. And here comes the knowledge again. Those of us that we know about Islamic law, we know that Islamic law is not Sharia. Why? Because Islamic law is made by men. It's what we call fiqh. These rulings that a man does not have to talk to your father, that a man does not have to pay if you didn't put it in the contract. You see, there is always a dark spot somewhere there. This is fiqh. This is what some ancient traditionalist men, that they were equally misogynist to today's traditionalist men, created in aim to give the right to men like that, have fun with you, enjoy you, and then throw you away. So you see the difference? Muslim feminists, we teach each other about these things. We read the scholars. We know, and then when the time comes, and all of us, we have been approached by someone who claims to have been knowledgeable in Islam and proposed a polygynous marriage, an open marriage, a misyar marriage. But a feminist doesn't accept that marriage, because a feminist knows her value, knows that she is Khalifa of God on earth. And I will go again to this book about this element. Comes here, okay? Page 32, you see it? Page 32 says, each human is created as a moral agent, Khalifa of Allah. Each human, not each man, each human. So, that's why this man fights against Muslim feminists. And when you were so in love with him because he fights against Muslim feminists, you didn't understand that the reason he fights us, he and his friends, not only him, is because we don't accept their bullshit. And mind my language. If every woman was a Muslim feminist, he wouldn't find women to entertain his desires and throw away after a week. Like you. So that's why he fights against feminism. And those of you women out there that you're so proudly against Muslim feminists, you just condition, you prepare yourself like a dessert to be served to these men, to be licked and thrown away. And then you will come and you will cry and you will ask for justice and you will ask for someone to support you. And the sheikh that you will go to, the sheikhun, they will tell you that Islamically he did okay. Islamically, he didn't do anything wrong, but they don't mean according to God. They don't mean ethically correct. They mean, yeah, there have been other men before us that they said, we can do that to you. And you didn't know. Again, remember the previous video that I have in English, the video about this guy in India that he was offending the woman public, and he was said, did you put this in your marital contract? Did you put it in your contract? It's exactly the same mentality. That's exactly what she quotes Mohammed Hijab having said, that you didn't ask, you didn't put it in the contract, I'm not obliged to do it. That's how they play. And that's why they hate us, because we tell other women, do not, for the sake of God, do not go in polygynous marriages. And why do not go? Because here the men, and I know, please don't, men, don't bother starting these conversations against under my video. Men will go that God gave us the right for polygyny. No, that's not exactly what God did. First of all, polygyny is supposed to be beyond the first wife. The second, third, fourth wife is supposed to be a widow. And we know that because in the Quran, the first condition is that for polygyny is the purpose of polygyny is to protect the orphans, not so it's widows, not divorcees. Okay, polygyny is not for divorcees. Polygyny is for widows, and the children need to be orphaned. That's why we know it's not divorcees, because when you are a divorcee, your child is not an orphan. It does have a father. The father pays for the child, which is another thing. She cries, oh, my daughter's life has been destroyed. Nobody will take care of my daughter. Well, your first husband is a Muslim. Your first husband is obliged religiously to pay for this daughter until she becomes an adult. But I guess he was also a traditionalist. Huh? I don't know about this. But you see how we women have rights given by Allah. But we men are everything in traditionalist Islam, not in Islamic feminism. So back to the point that I was before, which I forgot, but anyways, because I jumped from one topic to the other. They fight against us. Oh yeah, it was the polygyny. Yeah, the polygyny was with conditions. One, that the woman that you marry is a widow, and you marry her not for her, but for the orphan. You need to take care of the orphan. And the second, that you need to do justice, to treat all your wives equally. In our world, this can never happen. It never happens. So a Muslim feminist today knows that these are the conditions in the Quran and has self-respect and does not agree to be a second wife in a polygynous marriage. Because even if she is a widow and she has a child or two, the government provides. And the man, no man can treat equally all women. And this is something said in the Quran. God in the Quran says that you cannot treat equally all. So avoid it. So it's not a right for men. It was an obligation against orphans of the men, which doesn't exist today because we don't have wars, because these were the orphans of the wars. And there are social benefit systems that support these children, etc. So a feminist, overall, a feminist woman would not go into a polygynous marriage. A feminist woman would know and will demand her marriage to be contracted on a paper with signatures and have the correct name. And then later on, the husband wouldn't say, oh, this was a sex marriage. If the contract says nikah, it's not a sex marriage. If the contract says misyar, then you know what you're doing. You know what you're agreeing into. And then you don't have a right to complain afterwards. But if you don't have that knowledge, if you are this woman that, oh, man is everything, he said it, I trust it. And without him, my life is destroyed. That's what happens. And trust me, when they come to us and they propose us polygynous marriages and misyar marriages, and we tell them, no, these are my terms and conditions, of course they don't do it. So of course she wouldn't marry you if you were a feminist, but you would have to dodge a bullet. Now we see what happens. So these, for all of us outside of this debate of the couple, this is what we can learn about Islamic feminism from this story. That if this woman who was a Muslim feminist, she wouldn't have been through that. And for as long as women like her fight against us, that we uphold values of Islamic feminism, they will be, we are safe. We are safe because we protect ourselves. We honor our position as Khalifa of Allah on earth, and we don't get impressed by, oh, he was famous, everyone was praising him, I was in love with him. In love what? Love is good. But first and foremost is the rights that God gave you, not Islam. Because you see how he came and he was like, Islamically, I was right. And then the Shaykhun said, Islamically, he was right. What do they mean? Fiqh based on the Islamic law that men created for men. He's right. You need to know the differentiation. You need to know about your religion. And she, at the beginning of the video, she says how she's the daughter of a Dawa gentleman in her country and she was involved in Dawa. Well, the hours that you have spent doing Dawa should be channeled into learning about your religion, because had you known about your religion, then you wouldn't be in this position. Or the other version is that you do know about your religion, and you put yourself in this position willingly, and now you got hurt because you got rejected and you try a way around. And again, I don't defend what Mohammed Hijab did, if he did it, because I don't know. We don't know what happened between the two. Although she did publish I saw several texts that support her case. But that's not my point. My point is why such men, and unfortunately very popular men, that they are not even scholars, they are YouTubers. They fight against us, they badmouth us, they call us into debates to destroy us. And many people follow them. And do you know what's the problem with that? Yeah, this is important to mention. Those people that they follow personalities like Hijab, they learn about Islamic feminism, whatever these men tell them about Islamic feminism. I had two cases, personal cases. One was when I was interviewing my interviewees for my PhD research, my thesis. There was a girl that she was Pakistani and she lived in Saudi Arabia, and she studied in Saudi Arabia. And she came to give me the interview, and she was so against Islamic feminism. And Islamic feminism wants to destroy our religion, and Islamic feminism whatever she was saying was wrong. And I was like, how did you learn about Islamic feminism? Did you read any book of Islamic feminists? And she was like, no, my teachers in Saudi Arabia told me about that, which has a point. If men in Saudi Arabia teach their understanding and their points of Islamic feminism, means they know that we are strong. They know that they cannot avoid the discussion anymore, but what they do is they try to badmouth us. One of the questions in my interview was about the quality of life of Muslim women. At this point, this woman, that she was so passionately against Islamic feminism because Islamic feminism destroys Islam, she had a pause, she lowered her eyes, and she was like, well, we have to admit that the life of most women in Muslim communities is horrible and something needs to be done about that. And at this moment, I felt both a relief and a sympathy for this woman, because with all the brainwashing and with all her pick-me attitude that she wanted to be loved by her teachers, and she couldn't avoid the reality that these men that you worship, that you listen and you learn the world through them, they do nothing about your sisters and yourself out there. We, the feminists, do. The second example came recently. There is a book that was published recently about Islamic feminism. Mulki al-Sharmani is the name of the author. She's part of Musawa. Musawa is an amazing organization. If you don't know them, go and check about them. I'm not affiliated, by the way. I'm not affiliated with anyone and anything, but I have to say the correct things. So she published a book about Islamic feminism. And whenever I see a book and I buy it because I love books, have so many books, I publish it on my social media. So there was a woman, again from Saudi, again Pakistani, I think she was Pakistani, I'm not sure about if she was Pakistani, but she was in Saudi Arabia. And she contacted me privately and she was like, oh, because I put the cover of the book, the title, and then I put the content. So chapter number 6 of this book was about contestations against Islamic feminism, or let's say weaknesses of Islamic feminism. So she contacted me. She was like, can you scan and send me chapter 6 specifically from all 9 chapters? 8 chapters? She wanted 9 chapters. She wants chapter 6. The rest, 8 chapters, she was not bothered. She didn't want to learn about Islamic feminism. She didn't have a curiosity about Islamic feminism. She only wanted to have access to this one chapter that pointed out the weaknesses, or whatever other academics have called as weaknesses of Islamic feminism. Now, one thing that we need to understand is that public speakers and Dawah brothers are one thing, academia is another thing, okay? Al-Sharmani is an academic. In academia, we always find weak points. That doesn't invalidate the notion of Islamic feminism. It's just that pays attention that, okay, some scholars focus too much on Quran and don't deal with the hadith. And that is being seen as a weakness. But that doesn't invalidate Islamic feminism. So anyway, she asked me to scan this chapter and send it, which I didn't. I'm like, girl, if you want, buy the book. Then she asked me to sell her my book, because the book is very expensive. I have to say, this is a different problem with these books. They are very expensive. And as we were discussing, she was trying to convince me, as sister to sister. I told her, I was like, have you checked these videos of mine? Because she was like, oh, I'm married here and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, the videos about marriage and the rights of women in marriage. And she said, oh, no, I haven't, but I have these questions. I said, watch the videos and then come to me and I will answer any questions you have. But there is no point of me repeating 3 videos. After a while, she contacted me again to sell her my book. And I asked her, I was like, did you watch the videos? No, she didn't. So these are examples of how those Dawa brothers, those YouTubers, they will give you a very distorted picture of what Islamic feminism is. Because that's what serves their purpose. Because if every Muslim woman starts learning about her religion, starts being a Muslim feminist, these men will not have fun out there, and they know it. Also, the element of the father, because in this case, the element of the father is very important. It was not only that her father told Mohammed Hijab, according to her, that, oh, my daughter and granddaughter will be, heavy burdens on your throat, on your neck. Here comes the element of how these traditionalists, because these traditionalist men are misogynists. We like it or not, you like it or not, facts don't care about our feelings. They are misogynists. And I will give you another example of personal experience of one of these people. Again, he's a very famous personality here in the UK, a convert. He's Greek as well. I'm Greek as well. That's how we met in a conference, but we started discussing one-to-one because of our common nationality or background. And friend of Mohammed Hijab's, someone we don't like, Muslim feminists don't like. What happened is that it was lunchtime. We were in this conference and it was lunchtime. And he came and he sat on the table that I was sitting with other people. All of us, we were strangers to him, okay? And he started talking about how the system is horrible and the system helps women because his daughter is doing so good at school, whereas his son doesn't do that well. And this is because the system is racist against men, Muslim boys in this case. 3 minutes later, the topic came about how schools are trying to find incentives for boys to read because boys don't read. And he admitted that, yeah, you're right. My daughter reads since I remember her, whereas my son never reads. Do you see the contradiction here? 3 minutes earlier, he was claiming that his daughter is doing well in school because of the racist against men system that promotes girls. But now he admitted that his daughter reads since he can remember her and the son doesn't. Now you will tell me, and why is this misogynist? It is because if he said that in front of us, the strangers, in 10 minutes that we shared the table to have our lunch, he says that within his family, his daughter listens to him, invalidating her efforts, her reading, her dedication to academia, okay, to education, and blaming the system for her doing well in school. This is misogyny. Misogyny is not only kill a woman, is not only rape a woman, which is misogyny. Misogyny starts with small steps. So this person that, because when we were discussing about in the conference, when notions of Islamic feminism came up, his argument was, I have a daughter, he has 2 daughters. I have daughters, I'm absolutely the rights of women. And then in the lunch, he praised his son like, oh yeah, he has never opened the book, but he's doing shitty at school because of the system. Whereas my daughter that she reads forever, she's doing well because of the system. You see the misogyny? So it doesn't matter whether the traditionalists are fathers, uncles, brothers, grandfathers, potential husbands, etc. A traditionalist is a misogynist. You cannot have traditionalists that they are not misogynists, and I say that with all my being. If you study fiqh, you know why. If you haven't studied fiqh, don't come in the comments and tell me, oh, you cannot generalize. Yes, I can. And I can because I know. You don't, so shut. Anyway, the last thing, because how long? Oh my God, 1 hour. Oh yeah, before she will marry Mohammed Hijab, she knew that Mohammed Hijab has a video, and I have watched that, where he says how he officiated a marriage. Now, why Mohammed Hijab officiates marriages, that's a different story for me. But anyway, within 60 seconds, and the mahr for this marriage that he officiated was a McDonald's meal. Let me repeat that, and I want you to feel this on your body if you are Muslim. A nikah was officiated within 60 seconds, and the mahr for this nikah was a McDonald's meal. This is the value of a woman for the traditionalist. A McDonald's meal. And another argument that I will not elaborate because I have it on my 3 videos about the marital contract. The traditionalists tell you, oh, mahr is symbolic, and you shouldn't make it a big deal, and you shouldn't make it a hardship for a man. Mahr can be 10 pounds. It's symbolic. According to the scholars, and go to the second of my 3 videos, according to the scholars, if the mahr is too low, the marriage is invalid. Mahr should be the value of a woman. That's why most of us, not all of us, but most of us, my personal mahr is a few thousand pounds. You don't have that amount of money. You don't want to pay that amount of money. You don't deserve to have access to my body. You don't deserve to have access to my heart. So, traditionalist notion of Islam, a woman is worthless. You can pay her mahr a McDonald's meal and have access to her body. Feminist notions of Islam, I am Khalifa of Allah on earth. You want to have access on my body? You want to have access in my heart? You want to be part of my life? You will pay the price. And the price is symbolic. It symbolizes how much you really want to be an honorable husband, or how you want to feed me a McDonald's meal, then take me to the hotel. Because in this, according to her testimony, the marriage between them was in hotel. They were meeting each other in hotels, and they were having fun, and they were going separately to the hotel, and they were leaving separately from the hotel, which again raises another question. In the marriage is invalid until it's consummated. No feminist Muslim would agree that, oh, I marry you, but in aim to consummate the marriage, come to the hotel and come to room X. That's where I will meet you. Habibi, what's the difference between prostitution and that? Oh, okay, the difference is that you will pay the prostitute, whereas in this case, you had it for free. But anyway, God forbid. The last thing that she said, she says, minute 2350, 2355. It's the silence of the scholars and the lack of complete scrutiny that creates monsters. To begin with, it is you, all of you Muslim women, that you devalue yourself, that create monsters. And because we have responsibility, we are responsible, we have value, we have credibility. We are not damsels in distress as you are being raised to believe that we are. So first is us. We need to protect ourselves. But you need to know how to do that. You need to know that God has given you the tools to do that. You need to know the difference between fiqh and Islamic or Quranic laws, which is Sharia. And you need to question this fiqh. Who said? When? Under what circumstances? It's the same like polygyny. Polygyny is presented by the traditionalists as the right of the man. It was never the right of a woman. It was a responsibility. It was an obligation of a man against orphans. But is it the lack of, is the silence of scholars? Let me help you there. because this comment was not correct. The correct comment is, it is the silence of the traditionalist scholars, because the feminist scholars are screaming on a daily basis. So if you consider hijab a scholar, or the likes of hijab as a scholar, and they are silent, of course they're silent. Of course. They work like a mafia. They scratch each other's back. Because this woman, before she goes to this man that has actually published her case, she went to another one, a bestie of Mohammed Hijab, and she gave her testimony, and he decided not to publish it. Why? Because they help each other. And this idea that you need to be dependable on a man, Habibti, men work for men against women. We have some exceptions. For example, Khalid ibn Fadl, amazing scholar, very honorable, very honoring on women. But when we mention Khalid ibn Fadl, who has traditionalist scholarship and secular scholarship, he's an Arab, he's amazing in Arabic language, he has fantastic legacy. When we talk about that, you say, he's a brainwashed, he's a woke scholar. Oh, so okay, you make the choice, okay? Asghar Ali Engineer, he spoke about the rights of women a century ago. A man, a scholar. Do you listen to him? No. But let's go into the feminist scholars. They're scholars as well. Okay. Amina Wadud, have you read her books? Of course not, because if you had, you would know that there is no man between you and God. Fatma Mernisi, amazing. May God rest her soul in peace. Keshi Ali, Asma Barlas, Aisha Chaudhry, Leila Ahmed, Lara Siri, Mulki Sharmani, Saba Mahmoud, and names. I can give you names until tomorrow morning. These are scholars. These are Muslim scholars, but they are women. In your traditionalist understanding of Islam, a woman should not talk, should not be educated, should not know her rights, should not alert other women. So these are not scholars because they're women. It's not the silence of the scholars. It's which scholars you decide to listen, and which scholars you try to invalidate, and which scholars you fight against. Because when your beloved one told you that he fights against feminism, he fights against these scholars. He badmouthed these scholars, and you, like a damsel in distress, you listen to him. Oh, if he says, she said that, if he says he's trustworthy, he's honest. No, he says, keep what he said in your mind, but go and buy the book. Download it. Half of these scholars, their books are for free on the internet. No, download the book and read the book and compare what he said to you with what the book says about Islamic feminism, and then come and tell me. So it's not the silence of the scholars, it's the silencing that you and your likes make to those scholars, that they would have taught you what you needed to know to be protected from this situation. Anyway, you see how many things we can learn about feminist Islam through this case? So, there are many traditionalists, and they come back hard. They fight us hard. We don't give a shit. These experiences, they teach us, they evidence why Islamic feminism is right. Islamic feminism is honoring women that they are Khalifa of Allah. We have dignity, we respect ourselves, and we don't allow men to disrespect us. That is all. I will have another video later on about something similar, but that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for lasting for so long. But these are important things. And start educating yourselves, people. Start educating yourselves. Don't trust the wolf. That's all.